Hi, this is a part 2 of my grass-type only Nuzlocke of Pokemon SoulSilver, with all the Kanto gyms and the game's climax, the fight with Red on top of Mount Silver. So if you haven't seen part 1, be sure to watch it. Seriously, it's one of the videos I put the most time into, and it'll give you context for today. Or, don't. I can't tell you what to do. We begin by getting the boat ticket and getting the hell out of Johto. Once we arrive in Vermilion, we don't waste time and go straight into Janine's gym. Janine? Isn't Surge supposed to be first? Well, technically, yeah, but in order to maintain the level cap without overleveling some of the members of my party, I'll do the gyms by the level of the leader's ace. So, Janine, the daughter of Koga, who definitely didn't have to bury his bug poison team after our encounter. Please don't sue me, Elite Four. She leads with a tough to beat Crobat, so I bring out Connor. Crobat hits a supersonic as Connor goes for a tract. Thankfully, I prepared for confusion with a Health Prism Berry, so Connor gets a free U-turn in, as Crobat is immobilized. Maureen makes her appearance and tanks a wing attack before firing back with Ancient Power, putting Crobat below half. Crobat hits another supersonic which stays this time and Maureen hits herself. I realize I may have made a mistake when I see her health bar go down to 26 HP, but she hits through and destroys the bat with a second dose of rocks. Weezing is out next, so I switch into Mary on a surprisingly hard Sludge Bomb before missing a Sleep Powder into another Sludge Bomb. I decide to go for another one as there was no point in switching, and thankfully it hits. Oscar comes out and the first confusion brings Weezing down to red and confuses him in case he wakes up. Which isn't necessary as Weezing just sleeps before Janine heals him the turn after. The next confusion brings him right back to red, and since I outspeed, Oscar kills Weezing to tie up the kill count with Maureen. Ariadas rolls out into a similar sentence as Weezing after getting off a poison sting. The second 8-legged friend is next, and he immediately goes for Swagger, and even though Oscar doesn't fall for it, he misses his move. So it's time for more Connor, who gets brought below half and poisoned by a single hit. So he just U-turns straight into Carla. She deals with the pesky spider with 2 ancient powers, leaving just the Venomoth, who manages to almost kill Carla before she knocks her out too. Lieutenant Surge and his beyond stupid gym puzzle is back, and after getting through it, we face the mighty war hero. So I rearrange some items and prepare myself for a tough battle. As he walks into the fight, he laughs at my team, before trying to cheese Mary with double team. But she's had enough. She hits Raichu with a Sleep Powder and lets Heather get her first team appearance today, as she sets up tanking a few quick attacks in the process, before annihilating Raichu with a Solar Beam. Magneton is second, but Heather's sun runs out as she gets confused and hits herself. Mary comes back in and sleeps Magneton on her second try, for slicing through the sleeping triplets with her Leaf Blades. Electrode gets a single double team up before falling asleep, then wastes Mary's Cherry Berry with Static as Surge heals, but eventually Leaf Blades get to him. The Ace Electabuzz suffers the same treatment, including the Static Rock, which will be uncurable this time. The second Pokeball is last, but with Mary's luck running thin on both accuracy and full para, Maureen comes in. But her luck isn't much better, so after setting up Light Screen for Carla, she comes in, and also can't seem to hit. Eventually, she gets off a Stun Spore even through the screeching, and Oscar makes an appearance. Leech Seed ensures that Electrode falls, one way or the other, so I get Connor in for U-turn, and free switch into Maureen. She eats a Charge Beam and sets up Light Screen again. Razor Leaf finally hits to get me the second Cantonian gym badge. I then bump into some Team Rocket shenanigans, before realizing Misty's gym is empty. So I chase down the grunt on Nugget Bridge, and when he claims he doesn't know anything, Maureen murders his bat. I finally get to fight Misty. Oscar leads against her Golduck, and gets confused by Water Pulse, but Sleep Powder comes through and Heather comes out. Now, Count with me. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We wake up the sleeping Snorlax, but he gets returned back to sleep. Then we enter Brock's gym, and despite his rock-hard determination, he suffers the same treatment as Misty. So one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take that, Simon. Next stop is Sabrina. And I gotta say, this gym looks really cool in the redesign. Time for the battle. She leads with Espeon, but joke's on her, since we've already seen this lead before. Connor U-turns most of Espeon's health away and sends out Oscar, who gets his chlorophyll swapped away. Rude. He takes a Shadow Ball, sleeps, and sees the weird cat before giving the spotlight back to Connor, who doesn't care about healing items, critting Espeon even through Sabrina's full restore. Maureen comes face to face with Mr. Mime. He does what every day can in his presence should, and sets up a light screen. Maureen is so sick of him that she crits and boosts with a single ancient power. The poor Mime then steals the neat trick before getting healed by Sabrina again. But a few more psychics and APs later, Maureen uses her last one to cave Mr. Mime's contoured face in, sending the sleep paralysis demon of all internet funny.
No! I thought we were safe! Oh my god!
Outlast. One Razor Leaf is enough to bring him below half. As Citrus Berry heals him, he just goes for Reflect. Maureen's next attack misses, and Psychic deals exactly half HP to her. Next Razor Leaf misses the KO, and Alakazam deals a huge chunk before Sabrina heals him, so Maureen can take some of that HP back down. I want the Zam to suffer, so I bring Connor back out there. He takes a Psychic and U-turns what's left of Alakazam into the second place. After that victory, I decide to gamble, which I'm really good at. I buy a bunch of items and an EV, which I'm going to come back to later, as well as a couple of TMs, mostly for relearning return. It's time for Erika, and probably the most confusing weird puzzle in the entire franchise, which gets me every time, so let's just skip right to the move preparations. I teach Psychic to Oscar instead of Confusion, as well as Poison Jab to Carla, since Mary cannot learn it. Erika is known as the Grass-type gym leader, but we all know there can only be one Grass Bender out there, so Erika's career is about to end. She decides to copy more of my team qualities with her lead in Jumpluff, so I leave with Maureen. Jumpluff sets up Sun, as Ancient Power takes more than half of her HP, so she U-turns into another familiar face in Victory Bell. I bring Oscar out, as the sun shines and a Grass Knot hits him for a decent chunk. Another Grass Knot brings him below half, as Psychic knocks out the enemy Fly Eater. Jumpluff comes back, and I know U-turn is coming, so I bring out my own Connor to take it. The small bowl of spaghetti pops up, so Connor naturally attracts it and starts draining it for a free kill. Eventually, she threatens Sleep Powder, so Connor quickly U-turns her into hummus. Mary is lucky enough to meet the opposing star, who tries with Sunny Day, but Mary just dissolves her in acid. Erika is truly desperate at this point, so she throws out her last vulnerable flower. She takes an acid hit and flashbangs my entire team with Solar Beam. She tries to stall my team with Synthesis and Solar Beam hits, so I switch into Carla and a single AP brings Blossom below half. I decide to finish the job with the newly learned Poison Jab, and that's the 6th badge down, 2 more to go. I get another Leaf Stone, and realize you cannot get a Leafeon in this game. Great. So that's just about 6 hours of my time down the drain. Anyway, I use Eevee's Headbutt for my last team member, a small shroomish that steals Eevee's identity before evolving to Breloom. I make it to Cinnabar Island, and then straight into Blaine's underground gym. He does the cool bunny ears while preparing to incinerate all of my little plants. His lead is Macargo, So I put out Maureen to hit him hard with AP before setting up light screen for overheat. Blaine actually thinks he did the big brain move by giving Macargo a white herb to cure the debuffs. I just synthesize and Maureen holds the full power overheat once again, and again on the rock slide miss. Light screen goes back up as the next rock slide hits. AP finishes the slug and out comes Magmar. He confuses Maureen and she prepares a KO for the next turn. I decide to wing the confusion, and Maureen barely tanks an overheat before snapping out and finishing the second third of Blaine's team. The real tough challenge emerges, and I switch the newbie into quick attack to bait the 4 times super effective bounce on the next turn. Bram switches places with Carla as Rapidash springs up. Carla takes bounce like it's nothing before taking a huge part of Rapidash's HP with Ancient Power. Rapidash goes for Flare Blitz, and Carla hangs on before hitting another bunch of her pocket rocks, winning us the penultimate gym badge. And I go straight to Blue, who's weirded out by the lack of snakes in my party since last time. His team is a little bit all over the place, so I'll try to make sense of it. His lead is once again copy-pasting my own team, so I lead with Connor, who hits a huge U-turn before making space for Maureen, as Blue goes for some advanced strategizing, but he's no Merritt McKinney, so his hypnosis misses, as Maureen takes down Executor. Arcanine is out next, intimidating Maureen and surprising me by being faster in Trick Room, meaning Maureen would normally outspeed. Flare Blitz is another close call, but Ancient Power brings Cujo down below a third. And with the E-Speed incoming, I switch in Oscar, who takes it really well before finishing the Mad Dog with Psychic. Another weird pigeon flies onto the field, and Oscar is able to tank an Air Slash and sleep him before Carla takes him out with a Rain of Rocks. Carla then also tickles Blue's Serpent, so Mary can cut it with Leaf Blades.
Something these nuts.
Machamp is out last. Blue just can't seem to come up with anything new to throw at me. Mary sleeps and switches into Bram, who seeds, before hitting Seed Bomb for around 90%, waking up Machamp. The No Guard Maniac hits a Dynamic Punch, so Connor switches in to watch his downfall. But Blue heals, so Connor U-turns into Mary, who sleeps and slices through Machamp to defeat Blue. The guard is too terrified to stand in my way now, as I make my way to Mount Silver. The core 6 includes Connor, the Star, with Silver Powder and Sunny Day instead of Attract, Carla with Citrus Berry and no grass type moves, Bram with Wide Lens and a great mix of fighting and grass, just like he is, the OG synergy couple of Oscar and Mary, and the one who started it all, Maureen with Hearthstone, which she kept since we got it. I also boosted my team's confidence, as well as my win rate by changing the frame to the most plant-like I could find. With that said, it's time to face the last obstacle in our way. Red. I walk up to him and initiate the battle. It starts to hail as his lead and his highest level Pokemon comes out, but Connor is ready for the fight. In frankly somewhat poetic fashion, Connor lets the sun shine through the hail as he gets hit hard by Volt Tackle, taking some of Pikachu's health along. Then he uses his signature move to almost take down the Game Freak Jesus. Carla swoops in on another Volt Tackle, but Pikachu lives recoil on a single HP, and Red decides to heal him. Carla doesn't let up and hits him hard with Ancient Power for the first Omni Boost of the video, meaning she outspeeds on the next turn and takes out the first of Red's Pokemon. The second beloved Game Freak character spawns, but doesn't stand a chance against the +1 AP. I feel a shiver down my back as Lapras appears. Carla hits hard with Ancient Power, bringing Lapras below half. But then she gets crit by a Blizzard, going through the boosts and killing one of the most pivotal members of my party. Bram wants to give his own for the team, so he sky uppercuts the Lapras into the next dimension. Venusaur barges in, a traitor of his own race. I go into Maureen, but she gets hit by a high roll which poisons. She's been the very first team member and the core of our team throughout the entire playthrough. She feels a parental bond to all the other team members, and she knows what she has to do. Maureen takes one last look at the friends she helped raise along the way and sets up a light screen before falling to Venusaur's sludge bomb. But Oscar has had enough at this point, firing a psychic crit to take out the plant frog. Snorlax rolls in, and Oscar sees him in exchange for some of his leaves to munch on. He lets Bram do the dirty work, as all the crunch damage gets healed by the inflicted leech seed. One single sky uppercut fueled by anger is enough to take down Napster. And the last foe emerges. Blastoise follows in Lapras' footsteps and goes for Blizzard. Bram hangs on, helped by the spirits of Maureen and Carlo, as well as Maven Sean. He then sets off a huge seed bomb, blowing up all of Blastoise's health and winning us the very last battle of this playthrough. Red just scattered, but I was left wondering, was this really what I wanted? I am the champion of Johto, and now the strongest trainer. But what weight does that hold if I had to sacrifice 2 strong team members, including my starter? I stood there on Mount Silver, doubting my life decisions, and thinking, nah, I'm just fucking with you. They're just pixels in a children's game, and playing aggressively was necessary for this type of challenge. With that said, I wanna do more mono type challenges in the future, so feel free to give me your suggestions for the next one in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this plentiful journey, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.